Dome in New Orleans is rumbling and rocking at the moment as the Saints entertain the Eagles in the NFC Wild Card game. Good afternoon. I'm Pat Summerall here with John Madden. You think of these two teams, you think about defense, and what do their respective offenses have to do to stop them?
Well, you know, the one thing, Pat, you just can't sit there and take it. And I think if the offense that comes up is the offense that's going to win this game. Now, Randall Cunningham, we're talking to Richard Kotite last night and Randall Cunningham, and he says it's important that he gets into a rhythm, that he gets off to a good start, that he has guys open, and then they can get a little running game going. On the other side, I think it's going to fall on Bobby Hebert, too, because protection is the thing anytime you play against the Eagles. So Bobby Hebert is going to have to get protection, and the other thing he's going to have to help his protection by getting rid of the ball quickly.
But, John, you know, this is the playoffs, and the immediate thing you think about is the finality of it all. It could be over after this.
Yeah, you can't beat that. I mean, that's what makes this so great, that there's 12 teams going to the playoffs. 11 of them are going to lose their last game this year, and of course that 12th team is going to win the Super Bowl. So these teams know you win, you go on, you lose, you go home, it's all over, and that makes for good football.
And the Eagles are going to kick off as the Saints have won the toss. They're at home, they've got their crowd. They've got the good defense. John Madden just told you about what they have to do on offense. And Roger Ruzek set to kick it off for Philadelphia. Both have been frustrated in recent years when this time of year comes around. On Dunbar, back deep in the middle. Patrick Newman to his right. Buford Jordan to his left. And Ruzek is ready. Some room for Vaughn Dunbar. Almost broke it out of the pack. Stopped by Barkley. 20-yard return. Bobby Hebert, the quarterback. In front of him, Richard Cooper, Dombrowski, Hilgenberg, Chris Port in place of Kennard, Brock, and Hobie Brenner, the tight end. Dalton Hilliard and Craig Ironhead Hayward. The running backs, Martin and Early. The wide receivers, and both have had good years. Two tight ends. The Saints change formations a lot. They open with two tight ends. Hilliard, the lone setback. Hebert, the quarterback. Going for the bundle early. For Quinn Early. And overthrown. Let's look at that fine Eagle defense. In the front, Simmons, Golick, Harmon, and White. Thomas, Evans, and Joyner, the linebackers. The rebuilt secondary has McMillan and Allen at cornerbacks, Booty and Miano, the safety man.
Well, they were saying that the Saints have a conservative offense. Jim Mora, I think, has done a great job with this team down here over the years. So he says conservative. We'll show you conservative. The first play is a 70-yard pass.
About 5 yards too far. Hebert to Hilliard. Got a yard as the safety man came up to make the hit, Miano.
You know, Rich Miano has really, I think, come a long way in this Eagle defense. You know, Richie Kotite was talking last night about how when they lost Andre Waters and Wes Hopkins, their two safeties, it looked like it was going to hurt their defense, but then Miano came in, maybe a little better pass defender, not as good against the run, but as he's playing, he's getting better against the run.
And the same is true of Booty, the other safety man. 4 wideouts for the Saints. Hayward is the lone setback with Hebert out of the shotgun. Hebert under pressure gets it out to Hayward. Hayward, first down and much more. Ironhead stopped by Booty. Crosses into Eagle territory.
You know, usually they have Dalton Hilliard in the backfield on that 4 wide receiver shotgun. That time they put Ironhead Hayward back here. You see, they were going to use him as a blocker. Now watch him. He's going to start to block. He's going to help in the pass protection. Then the pass protection breaks down. You see him here. He's blocking now. Now he sees that Bobby Hebert's in trouble, so he scrambles out, and you get Ironhead in the open field. Even though he's about 270 pounds, he can really move that 270 pounds.
Who knows how much he weighs? That's not a problem.
I'm being nice at 270.
I think
big
so.
old back.
He moves it fast. This is Hilliard, left side. Not much. 3 yards. Stopped by Seth Joyner and William Thomas.
As we were talking to Seth Joyner last night, the Eagles linebacker, he was talking about, again, that shotgun formation that I think the Saints do as well as anyone. And he said he has to guard Hilliard, and he's their primary receiver. Well, that time they went to the 4 wide receivers, shotgun. Hilliard wasn't even in there. And then, of course, the guy that hurt him was Ironhead Hayward.
Hilliard now is the lone setback behind Hebert. 2nd and 7. Eric Martin wide left. Small comes in motion. Caught by Early. First down. Hit by Booty. Early really went airborne.
Yeah, the one thing that Bobby Hebert does is get rid of the ball quickly. And probably the best thing that the Saints do is run those little hooks and those little slants and watch why Bobby Hebert has to get rid of the ball early. Because if he doesn't get rid of the ball early, that's going to happen to him late.
Boy, over the years, John, there have been some classic battles between Stan Brock and Reggie White.
Stan Brock about Reggie White. He started off, well, first of all, he's a man. And second, he said, you don't block him. He just goes where he wants to, and you try and redirect him.
That's Hayward. On first down, got a yard, perhaps stopped by Andy Harmon.
You know, Stan Brock isn't one of those fancy guys. In fact, Jim Mora calls him a warrior. He's a guy who's been playing 13 years over there at right tackle for the Saints, and one of those guys who's been through the ups and the downs, and through the thing where they wore bags over their heads and the ain'ts and everything. And Stan Brock has always been there and always been one of the steady, good players.
Morris said I couldn't be happier for him because he's had a really good year. Here's Hebert. Pass complete to Eric Martin. Down into about the 13, stopped by Booty, a gain of 19.
And you know where Eric Martin catches that pass is where he catches all his passes. He's not the biggest, he's not the strongest, he's not the fastest, but he is a tough receiver who will catch anything. And he catches them all right there in the middle. He starts here. Now most of his catches will be in here. So he just runs right in here and stops here. We were talking to Seth Joyner last night. He says the guy we have to stop on this team is Eric Martin catching the ball right there.
First time either of us have ever heard that.
And he said he's been doing it for years and no one's ever stopped it.
First time a wide receiver is the guy we got to stop. Maybe Jerry Rice.
Especially when it comes from a linebacker.
Hayward, flag on the play.
Ball start. Number 67 of the offense prior to the snap. 5 yards. First down.
You know, that'll happen a lot when you're blocking Reggie White. You know, there's great players do things. I mean, Reggie White will have tackles, or Reggie White will have sacks. The other thing a Reggie White will have is he'll make the guy who has to block him move early. And that time, because they always get jittery, they always wonder, where's Reggie, what's he doing? And they don't always listen and get the snap count.
What a game that was. Buffalo and Houston, 35-3. Houston at the half. Buffalo came back and won it. Hebert. End zone. Martin incomplete. A flag. A marker in the end zone.
I think they're going to throw it on the rookie Mark McMillan. You know, he's only 5'6", 5'7", but he has a 40-inch vertical jump. That time, I think in jumping he held.
Number 29 in the defense. First down.
That's him. He's an amazing guy. Mark McMillan, number 29. Now watch. You see there's Eric Martin. He puts his hand up. He wants the ball. You see McMillan can jump up there as high as Martin. That's not the problem. But he interfered before the ball got there.
That's one thing about that great vertical jump. You can only do that once. The other guy can take another step.
That's right. And you can't have your hand on anything when you vertical jump.
First and goal, Hayward. Touchdown. Took the ball over and tossed it into a group on the sideline. He's been fined a couple of times for throwing the ball in the stand.
Okay, when Ironhead gets that weight going forward on the goal line, he's going to push anything that gets in front of him or right back into the end zone. And he did it that time. They still haven't tackled Ironhead Hayward.
He might move the dome.
He'll blow the roof right off this place.
Barnhart holding Morton Anderson for the extra point. 7-0 Saints.
Now that was a drive.
A beauty. And 7-0 New Orleans over Philadelphia.
Tell you, a good goal line block by Dalton Hilliard. He's right here. Here's Seth Joyner. Joyner steps up. Boom. Hilliard hits him right in the hole. Ironhead Hayward comes in right behind him. But that is good goal line blocking by Hilliard. He's the guy that stepped, met Joyner, and then not only met him and turned him back, but turned him around sideways. Ironhead Hayward.
Hilliard got up underneath his pads, and as so often happens, that's when you get those good blocks. Here is Anderson to kick off.
Dalton Hilliard's a real powerful guy.
He really is. You don't return many of these kickoffs. This one might be. Sikahema from about a yard deep in the end zone. Cut down at the 20. Randall Cunningham will open at quarterback as usual for the Philadelphia Eagles. In front of him, Heller, Baldinger, Alexander, Eric Floyd, Antone Davis, Keith Byers at tight end. Walker and Sherman is for the most part they go with two running backs. Barnett and Calvin Williams, the wide receivers.
I bet Rich Kotite told Randall Cunningham, don't worry about being behind. Don't try and make it all up on one play. You don't have to do it yourself.
But listen to this noise. Cunningham gives to Walker. Walker gets a couple. Wayne Martin was the first man to hit him after a gain of 2. The well-known Saints defense, the defensive line not as well known as the linebackers, has Warren, Wilkes, and Martin in front. All 4 of these going to the Pro Bowl: Swilling, Johnson, Mills, and Jackson. And in the secondary, a very solid group: Cook and Jones, Atkins, and Taylor. Fred Barnett split wide to the left, and Williams is right. 2nd and 8. Cunningham outside to Walker. And here they come. Boy, do they swarm. Ricky Jackson, the first man there.
You know, anytime in the playoffs you get a touchdown first, it's big. But when you score the touchdown first and you're at home in a playoff game, it's really big because you get the crowd into it right now. You put the visiting team behind where they have to fight uphill. And I'll tell you, watch and listen to the noise on this 3rd down that the Eagles are going to have to play with all day.
Well, they had 17,000 tickets available when they put the tickets for this game on sale. They sold them in 2 hours. Make a noise, they're doing it.
And that really makes it tough in the shotgun.
Cunningham back deep. Pass is deflected, incomplete. Hit by Frank Warren. And Cunningham went down. Roy Green was the intended receiver.
And you're going to see Warren from the top of the screen. He gets a penetration. Cunningham is looking left all the way. Warren is going against Baldinger. When Cunningham starts to throw, Warren just went up in the air and batted the ball.
Jeff Feagles back to punt. Newman Stopped by Isaiah Jenkins, and the Saints will take over at their own 32. 59-yard punt.
Coverage of the National Football Conference Wild Card Game is sponsored by Toyota and their full line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. HBO, think you've seen great entertainment before? HBO, just you wait. And by Miller Lite, an official sponsor of the NFL and Super Bowl 27.
Wild card game between the Eagles and the Saints. If you like to live at a fast pace, this has been a good weekend to be here. The Sugar Bowl on Friday night, and now this one.
And New Year's Eve was in there somewhere, too.
To the tight end, Hobie Brenner. From Hebert, midfield.
You know, Bobby Hebert is one of those streak passers. He's not one of the names that you hear a lot about, but I'll tell you, he's one guy that if he gets hot, he can get a string of passes that can go and go and go. And he really mixes up. And most of his passes are going to be inside, but they're not to the same guy. We saw Hobie Brenner, the tight end, that time. We've seen a back catch one in there. We've seen Eric Martin catch one in there. But what he likes to do is hit the inside of the field.
And he gets out a lot of words per minute in the huddle or in conversation. 6 first downs to none. Hebert to Dalvin Hilliard. Hit by Andy Harmon. Got a couple.
Yeah, it was interesting. I saw Jim Mora Friday. I came over to the practice field, and he was driving out. He stopped, and he said, you know, he says, I don't know what's going to happen. He said, I just want to tell you one thing. This is Friday. A coach is more relaxed a couple days before the game. He said, I feel better about this team, and I feel better going into this game than I have any other situation in my life.
You know, he said the same thing to me down on the field a minute ago, but he said also, this is the best team we've ever played in the playoffs.
Yeah, that was the next thing. That was a disclaimer. Yeah, we're playing the best team we've played.
Fake reverse. Behind Dunbar as Hebert was under pressure from Reggie White.
Geez, he looked like he should have just handed it to Dunbar. He really had it. Watch here. They're going to fake there to Hilliard. Dunbar is going to come from the wing position. Look, if he would have handed it to Dunbar instead of faking it to him and then trying to throw it to him, it looked like that could have been a pretty big play.
He had a blocker out there and only one Eagle.
Because they went with Hilliard. They really read Hilliard as the only back. Here comes Dunbar. No one reacted back to that play. The reverse is there if they want it later.
3rd and 8. Reggie White goes over the middle, and Clyde Simmons goes to left end. So Brock has to block Simmons this time. Hebert's pass is incomplete. In the direction of Hilliard, incomplete.
Well, what they want to do is you get big Reggie White in there, and you want to get him inside over a Joel Hilgenberg who only weighs 250 pounds, but then they do the stunt so the right guard can help. Andy Harmon got the penetration. They get so worried about where Reggie White is, what you're going to do, that they block Reggie, and then Andy Harmon gets in there.
Tommy Barnhart. High punt in the direction of Sakahima, bounces through the end zone. So the Eagles will take over at their own 20. The Saints lead it 7-0.
And that's Paul Boudreau, the offensive line coach of the Saints. Back there, he's drawing up what the Eagles do on defense and how to pick up the blitzes and the pass rushes and everything they do. And there's the guy who does the pass rusher and the guys who do the pass rushing sitting over there thinking about what they're going to do next time.
1st and 10 Eagles. Cunningham up under the center. The Saints fake blitz. That's Heath Sherman left side. Wilkes led the Saints against Sherman's rush.
Yeah, when we talked to Rich Kotite last night, he said that the last time they played, they were able to run, and he said he wants to be able to run again, obviously, today. He said he thinks they can run to their left more. And one, because Pat Swilling is more of a quick guy and a finesse guy and spinning and so on. And he said he'd rather run at him than he would the other side at Ricky Jackson.
That's Calvin Williams in motion. Cunningham chased and caught. Ball's loose, and there's a scramble. Looks like the Saints came up with it if it wasn't already down.
You know, in the first game, Randall Cunningham fumbled 3 times against him. That was one of the things that they talked about and they worked on. Like Kotite was saying in the first game, he didn't feel that Randall Cunningham really sensed danger. He said now that he's back, he feels that he senses danger more, although I don't know how well he sensed it on that play.
They're saying his knee was down. You better sense danger against the Saints.
Well, see where the ball is? That means he didn't sense danger. See, when you sense danger, you have to put it away. And right there, you see his knee is down. His knee is down here. The ball is still in there. It's just starting out. So what they're ruling that his knee was down before the fumble. But that is very, very close. That ball looked like it was coming out just as the knee was going down. I think the Eagles dodged a bullet.
3rd and 2. That's Byers out of the backfield in motion. Cunningham again is going to take off, but this time he's going to get the first down and more. Still on his feet. Chased from behind by Swilling and brought down after a 15-yard scramble.
And that's the danger you have to sense there at the end. The first thing that Randall Cunningham looks for is a lane. He said there always has to be at least one lane to run in. Now, if we stop it here, we see here's the lane. Here's the one lane that he can run. And then, of course, he gets in the open field. Then he looks for that next level to be. Now, here's where the danger could come at the end and that strip. I'll tell you, Pat Swilling does it well. No one has ever done that better than Lawrence Taylor. I think they all learned it from Lawrence Taylor.
I think that's where it came from. You're right. Walker is the deep back. Sherman in front of him. They didn't have the play. Couldn't hear it because of the noise, so they checked with Cunningham. He's going for a bunch. Fred Barnett. Touchdown. That'll quiet him down from 57 yards away.
And if you're going to go deep, Fred Barnett's the guy to go deep to. In fact, if there's any one thing about the Eagle defense that I've always felt they don't do enough of, that's get the ball deep to Fred Barnett. Here he has single coverage. This is Toy Cook, number 41. He's just going to sprint right by him. He doesn't run any kind of pattern at all. Toy Cook was looking back into the backfield, and Barnett just did that with speed. He just has too much speed for Toy Cook to play man-to-man.
Especially when he looks back like that. He just flew by. 7-7. The speed by Barnett and a perfect strike from Cunningham. That ties it 7-7.
I'll tell you, here's Fred Barnett here. Here's Toy Cook here. Here's Atkins, the safety. Now, he should always stay as deep as the deepest and help. But watch, Barnett will just run right by Toy Cook. And for some reason, Gene Atkins, the safety, comes up. You see right here, when he comes over, we stop it now, we can see, here's Atkins here. He was looking at this. And then, of course, Barnett not only got behind Toy Cook, but Toy Cook had no help that he should have had from his free safety.
Ruzek approaches. It's going to be Dunbar. Bounces through his arms back into the end zone. He'll down it there.
You know, the interesting thing, Pat, before that play, here's what Randall Cunningham had to do. He went up and checked the snap count with Dave Alexander, the center, came back and told both the running backs so that the play started with everyone on the same page.
Alexander, maybe you saw, turned to his right until that side of the offensive line.
Yeah, it's Alexander's responsibility to get the offensive line off on the same start count. Alexander, of course, is the center. So the guards are right next to him.
Right.
And then his head motion tells the tackle when the ball is going to be snapped.
7-7. Haywood, the lone setback. And a handoff. Just iron head. Scrambles for maybe 3, 4 perhaps. Simmons and Thomas.
You know, that pass that we just saw Randall Cunningham throw, that was a perfect strike to Fred Barnett. Good pass protection, all that, but that That was Randall Cunningham's first playoff pass touchdown. There's Fred Barnett. He's talking to your old Arkansas buddy there, and I'm sure Fred Barnett's telling him that he could do that all day.
That's Lou Carpenter that he's talking to.
Lou Carpenter's a receiver coach. Barnett's a guy who feels that he can beat his guy deep on every play. He truly feels that way.
This is Eric Martin wide open. Nobody even close. Stopped by Booty. A gain of 26 to midfield.
Yeah, that was the thing that Seth Joyner was saying. Here's the area that Eric Martin catches all his passes. He can come from the right side and get in there. This time he comes from the left side. If we just stop it here, they kind of knew that this is the area where he catches. If you had a hit chart, Eric Martin's catches will all be in that area, but look how wide open it is in that Eagle defense.
Boy, if they knew it, they didn't tell anybody.
I know. I mean, they knew it. They worked against it, but then you get in a game and stuff happens.
Martin is out. That's early in motion. And Hebert will throw. Steps around Reggie White, gets it outside to Dalton Hilliard. Fumble. Eagles. Rich Miano on top of it. Philadelphia has the ball. There was no knee down in that case. Booty made the recovery.
I tell you, Hilliard was really hit on that one. Watch him here. Hebert does a nice job of getting away from Reggie White there and stepping up, finding Hilliard there with a catch, with a throw. Now, it looked like Byron Evans came in and made the tackle, and as he was going around, he threw his hand in there and stripped the ball out.
That's what happened. And Hilliard comes out of the game. He's hurt. Just gave up the ball as well as injured. First down, Eagles at their own 39. 7-7 score. Cunningham incomplete. The ball was deflected, or either that or slipped out of his hand just as he let it go.
Well, it looked like Wayne Martin was there that hit that ball. This is a fumble play now. But watch, Hebert does a good job of stepping up there. Now you watch here, he comes in and Byron Evans hit him, and then the ball started to go even before he started to strip him.
I'm not sure what hurt his hand, but that's what they're looking at. 2nd and 10, Eagles. Byers on the move. Off is to Heath Sherman behind the line of scrimmage. Wayne Martin again, along with Pat Swilling. .105 now left to play in the first quarter. Score tied at 7. 3rd and 10 Eagles at their own 39.
Cunningham checked with his line, then checked with both backs. Then he gives that step count, which is a silent count.
Cunningham deep. Over everybody in the direction of Calvin Williams. He just let it fly.
I don't know if he thought Calvin Williams was going to keep going because Calvin Williams stopped, or if he saw that that was good coverage over there and he just decided to throw the ball away. If you look over here now on the other side, Byers thinks he's open. In fact, Byers is always yelling. He yells at Cunningham and yells woo-woo when he's open. Cunningham was looking the other way.
At the 11, Newman signaled fair catch. It'll be 1st and 10 after a 49-yard punt by Fiegels. 25 seconds left to play in the first quarter. 7-7 tie.
Look at Byers is still trying to get Cunningham's attention. He tried to get it out there in the field. Now he goes to the bench and he was hitting the show. Look at him.
Yeah.
He said, I'm waving, I'm waving, I'm waving. Why did you throw it to me? Cunningham was looking the other way, though, to be honest.
He's still looking the other way.
Yeah, and that's exactly. He was looking to his left and Byers was open to his right. They go to the bench. Cunningham is looking to his left. Byers is at his right.
And he's still looking to his left. But Byers was open. There was nobody else even in the picture.
You know, and they're best friends too, so it's not a negative type of thing. That's why they're sitting next to each other.
At the 11, as the first quarter is about to come to an end. Reggie White around his ankle.
It's an amazing guy. You know, I mean, he's so big. You look at him out here and you think, you know, Reggie White, we're going to go inside. We don't have to block him. But the guy is 300-plus pounds, and he runs a 4.640, and he has a quickness. He's like Lawrence Taylor. Wherever you run, you better block Reggie White.
That's the end of the first quarter with the score. Philadelphia 7, New Orleans 7. Summerall with John Madden. These the playoff scores from yesterday. Washington over Minnesota. And San Diego shut out Kansas City. Earlier today, Buffalo came back to beat Houston. 2nd and 9 here at the Superdome. 7-7 tie. Hayward, the lone setback. Small is the motion man. Hebert to throw. Hebert out of bounds at the 15 by Seth Joyner.
He ran into a bunch of stuff over there. He's probably going to have something to say for Small, because he was trying to go to Torrance Small, who Bobby Hebert says is really kind of tough for him to read, because, you know, a rookie doesn't always go where he's supposed to. And I think that's what happens here. You see 83 is right there is Torrance Small. He was looking at him, and Torrance Small was just kind of standing there looking back at Hebert. I guess when you start to go out of bounds, you grab anything you can. He grabbed some kind of cord, didn't he?
Yeah, and there's no carpet over there.
No, that's just plain old rock.
Hebert from the shotgun. Gets it to Hayward again. He's got a first down at the 30. Eric Allen tripped him up, a gain of 16.
Old Ironhead fills out that jersey and that helmet pretty good. How'd you like to be a defensive back and you see this type of thing? You look and you see a dump off and you see Ironhead Hayward coming down the field full steam. And you don't have any linemen or linebackers in front to help you. This is a look right here. This stuff's coming at you. And it's moving right and it's moving left. You're not going to take it on head on if you're Eric Allen.
It looks like it ought to be giving off some steam.
Old Ironhead came in there. He gave us those pickled string beans yesterday. That had a little spice.
I'll tell you what. I'm still, there's some remnants around. Randall Cunningham's first playoff touchdown pass to Fred Barnett, 57 yards. Bobby Hebert, 7 out of 10. Craig Ironhead Hayward, 48 total yards, and he scored the same touchdown.
You know, you come in here, we were talking about the defenses and talking how you have to control the defenses. The first quarter, they did that pretty well because neither quarterback has been sacked yet.
A touchdown apiece. First down, Saints. Eagles show the blitz. Hebert. First down and more to Early. He saw it coming. Stopped by Booty.
And that's what Bobby Hebert can do. He can see it coming, and then he can find a guy that's open, and then he can do the third and most important thing is get rid of the ball quickly. Look, a little play pass. He always keeps that ball right up there, and boom, it comes out of there right now. I think that, you know, that's the thing that great quarterbacks have to have, or all quarterbacks have to have. There has to be a mechanism from the time you see something open until the ball releases your hand. That has to be a short span.
First and 10 in Eagle territory at their 49. Hebert points to his right, gives to Hayward to his left. And Ironhead gets to about the 45, gain 4. Byron Evans stopped him.
I'll tell you one thing about Ironhead. He's top heavy. I mean, if you look at Ironhead, all his weight is up on top because he really doesn't have big calves and he doesn't have big feet. But then when he gets those shoulders square and that body moving into the thing, doesn't make any difference if you're a big linebacker or not. He's going to fall 5 or 6 yards forward.
He may not have big legs and big feet, but something's big somewhere.
Well, if you take from that waist up, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
And from the waist to the knees is pretty big.
2nd and 6. Ironhead is the lone setback. Fake by Hebert to him. Hebert to the 35-yard line of Philadelphia. Booty knocked him out. He scrambled around Reggie White.
Yeah, and Reggie White's going to be mad because he's going to say, if you watch him right here, Reggie White is going to say that Hobie Brenner clipped him. See, he starts inside, then he starts to chase him right there. You see right there when he goes down, he's going to say that he was clipped and grabbed, but that was Hobie Brenner's block or clip or tackle or whatever. That's what got him free. Watch, Hobie Brenner's going there. He grabs a jersey there. Then he goes to try and pants him later. But that grab and pants was the thing that got Bobby Hebert around that corner.
That's the Saints' longest run today. Goes by Hebert. Hayward to about the 33. Bounce to the 32. Stopped by Harmon.
Yeah, every time you come down here, Ironhead Hayward has something for you. And yesterday we were talking about just he brought a big jar in of pickled string beans, and they had some spice in it. And they were really good. We started, I like spicy stuff anyway.
Yeah,
I started to eat those things, and then started to get on. He goes, "Well, you need some beer with them."
Yeah. And he also let us know that they've been soaked in pig feet.
Yeah, and they tasted like they'd been soaked in a lot of stuff. It was pretty good, though. It was good tasting.
I didn't turn it down.
Oh, you can't beat a string bean in a bottle.
There you go. To about the 28, a pickup of 4 by the large fullback.
The amazing thing about the large fullback is how quick he is and how light he is on his feet. And how he can really move that ball.
Wasn't somebody trying to convince you that he was built like a ballet dancer?
Yeah, well, no, someone said that, his feet were like ballet feet.
That was it.
Yeah, and then, that's, if you just look at the feet could, I don't know anything about ballet. I don't know what I'm talking about, but he has ballet feet.
You think he does?
No, I hope not. He wouldn't be Ironhead if he knew what ballet meant.
3rd and 4. Hebert. Martin, enough for a first. Booty again on the stop, but a gain of 6.
And again, Eric Martin catching the ball in the same spot. He starts off in different locations. See, Seth Joyner runs right by him, but he catches the ball right in the middle all the time. He'll line up on the right, he'll line up split out, he'll line up in the left, but he always ends up catching the ball right in the middle of the field.
Well, when you asked Bobby Hebert yesterday, what about Eric Martin? He said, well, he's Eric.
He's Eric, which means that he'll always be open and he'll always catch it. And I'll tell you the other thing I'll say about Eric Martin. He is one tough receiver.
Oh, boy, is he. First down, New Orleans. Hebert has the ball batted away and in the air, hit by Seth Joyner as the Eagles came on a blitz.
Seth Joyner is going to be coming from the outside now. And we'll look as he comes. He starts a rush. He's coming up from the outside, and there Brock goes to get him, but he gets there a little late. Joyner makes him look like he's going to stop, and then he just runs right by him. I think he kind of waltzed him to sleep. You see, he came up to Brock like he was going to dance with him, and then just went, boom, just went right around the corner on him.
That'll make it 2nd and 10. Split wide right this time. Early and small or to the left. And here's Hebert back. Incomplete in the direction of Hayward. Byron Evans had a shot at it.
If Bobby Hebert's talking Ironhead Hayward now, that was Bobby Hebert's fault. Because he had his mind made up, that he was going to Ironhead. Now, he's going to look at Ironhead. Ironhead's going to be covered. We can just stop it right here. See, here's Ironhead. Here's Byron Evans. Here's Bobby Hebert. He's looking at him, and he's covered. There's nothing to throw to there. And he forced that one in there. So maybe Ironhead made the wrong cut or ran the wrong pattern, but Bobby Hebert shouldn't have thrown it.
It looked as if he stopped, and Hebert thought he was going to keep going. Third down and 10.
He may have stopped because he was tired.
That would be. To Martin. The forward shuttle pass behind the line. 6 yards, not enough for a first, and Morton Anderson comes on, and Martin is limping.
Yeah, you know, again, wide receivers aren't used to doing that. I mean, the guy's a tough guy. He's used to catching passes in the middle, not running the ball in the middle. In essence, that was an inside run.
Anderson finished on a very positive note. 20 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, this is a real weapon.
That doesn't count. That record in postseason play, I don't care if it counts or not. It's pretty doggone good.
If a game is close, you want this guy in your team.
It's almost automatic. From 35 yards, Anderson is good. 8:18 left to play in the first half. New Orleans 10-7. Field goal gives the Saints a 3-point lead. That's Eric Martin. Problem with his ankle after that shuttle pass. It picked up 6 yards, as John Madden said. He's not used to that kind of running. Anderson will kick it off. New Orleans has had the ball 16 minutes and 29 seconds. The Eagles 5-13. Anderson's kickoff not long for him. Sikahema at the 1. One good block. Spencer down to make the stop after a gain of or return of 19 by Sikahema.
And that's good coverage there by the Saints a couple times, because Vi Sikahema is a dangerous player. You know, you tend to talk about the offense, and Randall Cunningham can do this, and Fred Barnett and so on, but when you talk about the Eagles and their dangerous players, this guy is one of them. And to think that they got him in the offseason on Plan B, that was a heck of a pickup for this team.
Just shy of the 20 as Swilling motions for the crowd to be more noisy, and he got his wish. Fires in motion. Cunningham to throw it. Fake to Walker. Had to just throw it on the ground. Ricky Jackson all over him.
You have to do more than that. Antone Davis was there trying to block Ricky Jackson. Ricky Jackson ran right by him. Randall Cunningham had some kind of fake on, and he turned. When you have this guy coming from here, you can't do that. Watch him. He just runs right by Davis. Cunningham was going to fake to the left and turn back, and there was Ricky Jackson.
You don't want to turn away from that guy. He's another one. You need to know where he is.
Yeah, he's a real man. When you talk about tough guys in this league, I think you put Ricky Jackson right up towards the top of the list.
2nd and 10. The handoff is to Sherman. And he pays the price. Hit by Vaughn Johnson. Knocked sideways, but still got 5. He's one of those kind of runners that doesn't look like there's much there, but he gets something.
Well, and one of the things that Dick Wood, the backfield coach of the Eagles, was working on with Heath Sherman is to keep his head up. He used to just put his head down and run in there. And he said he never saw anything, didn't have any vision in the hole. And he said that's one thing that he's worked on this year, and it's really helped him make better runs and not fumble, is having vision in the hole.
Seeing where the blocks are coming from.
You would wonder how a guy could get to this level and run with his head down anyway.
Really? That's Byers in motion. Here they come. Somebody either moved in the Eagle offensive setup. A lot of the Saints jumped.
Yeah, I think Ricky Jackson got one of those double dip things going, Pat, where he started to move, made the offense flinch, and then he came again.
Dale Hamer.
Offense, 5-yard penalty.
Delay of game.
That's one of the problems here, too, is you have to get the play in, and then in the huddle, the team has a hard time hearing, so you have to repeat it more often.
The Eagles were saying last night that the noise here doesn't bother us, but it's got to bother you.
Yeah, it did. Well, they worked all week. They got a crowd noise from NFL Film, and they played it for 3 days in practice as high as they could play it to get ready for this.
I don't know if you can. Here's Cunningham. Going deep. Incomplete. Broken up. Intended for Barnett. Hit by Vince Buck and knocked out of bounds.
That was the thing. You see, that time, Vince Buck got over to help. The last time when Barnett made the play, the safety, the inside guy, didn't get over and help. That's the difference. You see the short guy, see Vince Buck coming over. That is the thing that made that play.
Jeff Fiegels back to punt. Kickers love this dome to kick in, whether they're punters or place kickers. This is not a good one. Newman. Good coverage by the Eagles. The Saints will take over at about their own 47. 41-yard punt, 3-yard return. Then they started checking his neck. And the word we've just gotten is he has a pinched nerve in his right shoulder. One of those stingers.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to get it out. You know, once you get one of those stingers and they go all the way down through the elbow into the hand, then they start going away. Then they go away in the hand up through the elbow, and when you get it out of your hand, then you can play again, basically.
Saints first down. Hebert. Fake to Dunbar. Win early. For 20 yards from Hebert. Booty having a busy day, making a lot of tackles.
That's a good pattern. That's one of the things where you have a short guy and you have a medium guy and a deep guy. You see, you have a deep, you have your medium, you have your short. You just layer them out. Layer the short, the medium, and the deep. They cover the short, they cover the deep, and whoa, they leave the middle wide open.
That's that passing tree that you hear about.
Yeah, and there are some people that can do that real well and always get the open guy.
Dunbar is the lone setback now behind Hebert. Their first-round draft choice. Vaughn Dunbar. Still on his feet inside the 10. McMillan tripped him up. Otis Smith helped out, but he's hurt.
I'll tell you, and that's where they miss Andre Waters, and that's where they miss Wes Hopkins. Watch as he breaks through here. John Booty, number 42, is going to come up, and he's going to have a shot right there and miss the tackle. Okay, if that was Wes Hopkins, that was the end of the run. You could say that with Booty and Miano, you pick up a little in the pass, but you don't have that extra linebacker. Good blocking, good hole. The free guy there has to make the tackle.
First and goal at the 9, 24 yards by Dunbar. He is hit hard at about the 6.5 by Byron Evans.
Yeah, that's been one of the Eagles' problems so far this half. In fact, they've missed 5 tackles already, but they didn't miss this one. This is Byron Evans. This is going to be that counter tray, and watch number 56 zero in and then unload. Whew! That is the way a middle linebacker should hit.
It's a good thing he didn't have a tray.
You see what happened? I mean, when he made that hit, some stuff flew out of Dunbar.
Second and goal from the 7. Small as the man in motion. Hebert comes back to throw it. Flag on the play, but a touchdown nevertheless to Quinn Early. Hebert threw it short. Early came back.
I think the penalty was going to be on Eric Allen, who was covering Quinn Early anyway. I told you, when Bobby Hebert gets hot, he can get hot. And he's been hot this first half, and he's making some throws today. He's looking to the left to Quinn Early all the way. Early's covered there by Eric Allen. You see Eric Allen grabbed with that left hand. Early still made the play.
There was a flag in the end zone anyway. They would have had it first and goal at the 1, but Early came back and scored the touchdown.
And Bobby Hebert is looking more and more comfortable.
deck. And the Saints lead it 17-7.
And yesterday, that was some game they played against the Minnesota Vikings.
They just keep coming back.
You know, anytime a Joe Gibbs coach team, you know that they're not gonna give it away. You're gonna have to take it away from them.
Sikahema will down it in the end zone. Line drive kickoff by Anderson. A scuffle right at the goal line.
Let's rumble. You want to rumble? Let's rumble. Look at those officials in there.
They don't want to rumble.
Sikahema was in there. He was a Golden Glove fighter, you know.
No.
I mean, he's not in there.
No.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Hey, the referee took one there. He took two there.
Referee Dale Hamer. Holy smoke.
You can see him. He has the ball. He's the one with the ball. He went in head first. That's why he got it. He's right here. He went into the thing head first.
You don't want to go in there without a helmet.
No, and then at least he went in with a cap and he got the cap knocked off. There was no penalty on the play and the referee got two cuts.
Sherman to the 28. Ricky Jackson made the stop.
This is going to be a good look at referee. But when you come out of a game like this, when you come out of a game like that and you look like that and you're spitting and you got your eye cut and stuff, yeah, we've never had too many officials on the All Madden team, Pat, but we're looking, this Hamer guy, I don't know. Not a bad look.
We have to have seen him play.
We saw him play. He went in head first with no hat. You got to love that.
This is Pete Sherman. Close to a first down. Sam Mills and Les Miller. First down, Philadelphia.
I think the thing that the Eagles came in here, they wanted to get off to a good start, get that first score, get everything go, get the crowd out of this game, and really the reverse has happened to them so far. They're down 17-7, and now the Saints crowd really has something to celebrate.
You know, they ran against, you said before, they ran against the Saints the first game of the regular season, and the Saints felt that they played too cautiously, trying to contain Cunningham.
Yeah, they were going outside and always trying to contain those bootlegs, and they gave them a soft middle, and the Eagles ate up that middle. But they can't do it now.
For 2 or 3. Robert Pig Goff made the stop. Robert, I shouldn't call him.
But yeah, that's the thing. Bobby Hebert said he went up when Goff first came to the team, and he said, "Hi, Robert." And he said, "Don't call me Robert. My name's Pig." Anytime you get a guy who's called Pig and he's playing right in there in the pits and stuff, you try and run at him, you're not going to run over any guy named Pig. I'll guarantee you that in this league.
No.
Yeah, don't call me Robert. My name's Pig.
Second down. Cunningham back to throw. Has some time. Incomplete. That was a Nolan Ryan fastball. Intended for Barnett. Nobody saw that one go by.
Pat, that you said was a fastball. You watched number 41, Troy Cook, deflected the ball. It looked like it went right on by Barnett, but it was deflected on by Barnett.
They're working on the referee, Dale Hamer.
That's a New Orleans Saints trainer out there. I don't know what that stuff that he put on there was, but that doesn't, that looks like you could just knock it off. He took another punch.
He needs a better cut man, I think.
Well, yeah, that's what they use in fights, I think, and they put it, and that stops the bleeding, and then you can take more punches when you get that stuff on.
Third down.
You need Purdy Pacheco.
Cunningham has it deflected and almost intercepted by Jackson. Wayne Martin hit it.
See the pressure here. Now, what happens is Cunningham gets back, and he doesn't have anyone to throw to right away. So then when he doesn't have anyone to throw to, what Martin's trying to do is you rush as far as you can, and then you take a lane. You take a running lane if he runs, or if he passes, you take a passing lane with your hand. A running lane with your body, or a passing lane with your hand.
Newman fields Spiegel's punt. And down he goes at about the 18. 56-yard punt, an 8-yard return.
You know, an interesting thing when we were talking to the Eagles last night, and Rich Kotite, he said that the Eagles wanted to come out and get into a rhythm, and they really haven't been. I mean, they really haven't gotten into a rhythm, and I think that the Saint defense has won this first half. I think they're the reason that the Eagles haven't gotten into a rhythm.
I don't think there's much question about that. They do put a lot of pressure on you. They haven't gotten to Cunningham a lot, but they have hurried him a lot.
Yeah, they have, and then they've taken away that run. You know, where they had that soft middle the first time, they're not giving them a soft middle this time. And this defensive line, I think, has dominated the offensive line of the Eagles. And of course, those two inside linebackers are playing to run well, and the outside linebackers are putting the pressure on.
1st and 10, the Saints ball at their own 19. They're trying for more. Going deep for early. Overthrown. Otis Smith, the defender.
Yeah, if you want to come down here and make everyone, all the Saints players and coaching staff and everyone around there, and say, well, you have a good defense and a conservative offense. Do they hate that?
Oh, boy.
You know, here they are. I mean, they win 12 games. They're in the playoffs, and, you know, they have a good defense. But if you want to make their offense or their coaches mad, just say that. But they do. I mean, they have all these weapons. They always change formations. They go deep. They go short. They run the pass. I don't know. They don't have a lot of big play guys, but they do have an open offense.
But they're very touchy about being told they're too conservative. This is Hayward at the line of scrimmage. Maybe he got a yard.
Remember all the years that they didn't win and they were spoiled. Then they started to, they weren't spoiled because they weren't winning, and then they start winning, and then they get spoiled. Then it gets to be how you win. Just give the ball to big old Ironhead and you're okay.
Timeout, Philadelphia. Singletary at our studio back in New York. The NFL halftime report. Randall Cunningham, outside of the touchdown strike to Barnett, hasn't had really much of an opportunity to do much. The Saints have controlled the scoreboard and the ball. Bears 12 out of 18, back in the shotgun this time. Eagles blitzing from behind. They get it out to Hayward again. He is cut down in the open field by Andy Harmon. Didn't see him coming.
Nope, but Ironhead is upset because he saw the first down stake and Andy Harmon got him from behind. And a back doesn't like that when a big defensive tackle will get you from behind. See, the blitz comes again. It wasn't picked up, but the thing that Bobby Hebert can do is get rid of the ball quickly.
Another timeout, Philadelphia. Tommy Barnhart. The Saints punter already in the game. Talking about Hayward being caught from behind. I think that's a good place to catch him from.
Yeah, it would be a lot easier to catch him from behind and strip him and go down, start at his knees, go down to his ankle, than it would be straight ahead. Let's see what happened here. Again, he sees here right now, he's thinking that he has a first down. And you see Big Andy there, he was dropped back. He was kind of fake and rush. Then they blitzed the outside, then Harmon dropped out of there. So in essence, he was playing a linebacker.
Sikahema back standing for Philadelphia at the 30. Off the side of his foot just a bit, but Sikahema will have a chance at the 35. And he is dangerous, but not when you cover it like that. Patrick Newman down in good shape. He lost 4 on the return.
You see what Patrick Newman did after he made the tackle? He did that punch like Sikahema does. Because Sikahema used to be a fighter, so his experience thing is after he makes a play, he would give that punching motion. Newman here is double teamed. He breaks the double team. Not only breaks the double team, gets down there, the first guy down there, and makes the tackle. And watch after the tackle. He gives that punch. Boom, boom, boom. You work the body, man. Then you go to the head later.
Now, that's the guy who wants to make a play.
Yeah, I know. But he's saying, I'll show you. You want to see some punches? I'll show you some body punches.
First and 10, Cunningham outside. That's the Calvin Williams out of bounds. Clock keeps running, however, after a gain of 9. Toy Cook made the stop.
You know, you'd think that somewhere again they would try and get deep to Fred Barnett. I don't know. They may talk about that at halftime.
First down, Eagles, as Barnett tries to get it out of bounds, but didn't. The clock's still going. They only have 1 timeout left.
Barnett should have just caught that ball and just ran right out of bounds. But they can't do it now, but in the second half, they ought to think of getting to Barnett deep again.
Now, Cunningham just throws it down at the line of scrimmage and gets the clock stopped. That'll bring up 2nd and 10. They have 1 timeout left.
And what Cunningham wanted to do is get everyone back in the huddle and be able to change his formation and call the play from the huddle. They need about a 25-yard play, because if they could hit something around 25 yards, then they could get in field goal position. And as you say, they still have that 1 timeout.
And their field goal kicker was kicking very well in pregame warm-up. Ruzick. Here's Cunningham. Barnett. Out of bounds. Incomplete. Pass was underthrown just a bit. And Barnett stepped out of bounds when he came back.
Yeah, and I don't think they can forget this. You know, they got a touchdown with Barnett early. I don't know that he wasn't in. It looked like he had both feet in.
His right foot might have been just on the white part.
That was still a heck of a play, though.
It sure was.
If we had instant replay, we'd be watching it over and over again. But I think that, you know, they got a touchdown going deep to Fred Barnett. I think Fred Barnett is one of the best deep receivers in the game. Sometimes you do it and you forget about it. I think the Eagles got it early and have forgotten about Fred Barnett deep.
11 seconds left as Cunningham throws the screen pass to Byers. And Byers will get it out of bounds at midfield. 4 seconds left. They still have that 1 timeout.
Yeah, I don't know that they would have time to make a play that would go far enough to get them in field position to make that play in 4 seconds to use that timeout, though.
Probably not. But they can take a shot at the end zone.
Yeah, or the other thing, I mean, they need about a 15-yard play now. If they could hit something right on the sidelines and maybe get out of bounds, or as you say, just go that Hail Mary play, which it looks like they're lined up to do.
4th and 4. 3 wide receivers to Cunningham's right, and that's what they're going to do. First half. That's the end of the first half with the score. The Saints 17, the Eagles 7.
Go out there, take the momentum away from them, and beat them in the second half.
So for one of these teams, the finality that we talked about at the beginning is going to happen in about 30 minutes. Rest of the way as well.
I think probably the biggest surprise there is we talked about both of these defenses and, you know, and their pass rushers and all that, and there hasn't been a sack yet. But if there's been anyone that's dominated anyone in the first half, it had to be the Saint defense dominated the Eagle offense.
And that time of possession, of course, the Saints have been able to keep the ball. They are usually able to do that. As Anderson prepares to kick off, Seidner and Walker are back deep for the Eagles. Yeah, Seidner retreats. Herschel tells him to stay there. The referee, Dale Hamer, looks okay. Morton Anderson certainly is okay. Let's see about Randall Cunningham and the Eagle offense. 1st and 10 at the 20 when he gets back.
You know, you look at the one big play they have was that pass to Barnett, and I think that they probably have to do that some in the second half. I think they have to get deep to Fred Barnett again, but probably the other thing they have to do is get back to some running game. I mean, they really got away and they didn't run, didn't have any success running. They probably have to start there.
1st and 10. Cunningham is going to put up in the air. Pass complete to Calvin Williams as he steps out of bounds after a gain of 6.
If you look at Randall Cunningham's passing by distance under 10, he was 4 out of 6, and then he was 0 for 2, 0 for 1, 0 for 3, going up to 40 yards. And then, of course, he threw the one big touchdown pass, the perfect throw to Fred Barnett that gave him their one score.
6 out of 16 for Cunningham.
But I still think that deep one is there. I think that'll be there again somewhere in the second half.
Fires on the move. They give to Sherman. Sherman's close to a first down. A gain of 3. Sam Mills made the stop.
Yeah, part of it was that they didn't have any sacks, but they still did pressure Randall Cunningham. You see, they hurried him 6 times, they knocked him down twice, and they batted 4 balls down. I mean, that's the thing. I've always felt that a quarterback has to find the lane to run in. You know that when he's going to scramble, but he also is responsible to find a lane to throw in.
Sherman got the first down right at the 30, so it's 1st and 10. Walker. He got perhaps 2. Ricky Jackson brought him down. Remember in that first game, the first game of the regular season, which the Eagles won, Walker had over 100 yards.
And when we were talking to all the Saint players yesterday, and talking about defense and what they had to do, they said we have to stop Herschel Walker. They went into the first game, and again, it was the first game of the season, and they said they didn't have enough respect for Herschel Walker, and he ran over him. He said they're not going to let him do it again this game. And the Eagles really haven't even tried it. That's the only second time he carried the ball.
Well, the Saints were saying we have to make him take a lot of short steps, beat the ground. Cunningham gets it over to Fires. A gain of 4, stopped by Keith Taylor.
Another official went down. It's a tough day. I mean, when the intensity level goes up, there's some hitting out there. Good day for hitting. It doesn't make any difference who gets it. Whoa, that's a tough one. I mean, we saw ones where the official went in head first and got cut, and we see an official get leg whipped. It's tough out there. They're shooting live bullets today.
Well, you can't just have one official on the All-Madden team.
No, those guys are taking them. I mean, they're taking them from the front, going in head first, taking whiplashes and everything. Whipsawed.
Cunningham gets it to Roy Green. Roy Green out of bounds at just about midfield.
Roy Green has played in this league 14 years, and Seth Joyner was saying that he and Reggie White were talking last night that this may be Roy Green's last year. And you talk about winning a championship and a Super Bowl, and you think of guys like that have never been in one, played a whole career, and you can talk about they do it for money and they do it for all this, but when you get to this part of the season, you do it for a Super Bowl, you do it for a ring, you do it for a championship. That's what it's all about. It's not about money now.
And you do it for each other. Here's Cunningham, chased out of the pocket. Pass is caught by Calvin Williams. Acrobatic throw and an acrobatic catch.
Now that's what hands are all about. I mean, there was no body used in that. Calvin Williams did nothing but catch that ball, just pluck it out of the air with his hands. Watch this, the ball is going to be up high. He just goes up and boom, he caught that ball in the middle. Half the ball went through his hand.
Toy Cook tried to rake it out of his hands.
Good hands are hands working together, but to have good hands, you also have to have strong hands.
1st and 10 at the St. 36. Sherman. Sherman. First down. A gain of 11. Stopped by Vaughn Johnson.
Yeah, we were talking about not playing these games for money. If you look here, each player in this game is going to make $6,000. Now, the Saints' average pay per game was over $35,000. The Eagles' average pay was over $29,000. So every player is taking a pay cut to play here. Now, I know no one doesn't feel, you don't feel sorry for him, but, you know, everyone says that, yeah, well, for that kind of money, I'd do it too. But this is about championships. This is about going on. This is about not being eliminated.
It's about what's down the road, as you say. Fires in motion again. The handoff is to Sherman, hit at the line of scrimmage by Vaughn Johnson. No gain.
Yeah, you're not going to have a lot of success running inside because of Vaughn Johnson and Sam Mills. The Eagles did have a little success kind of getting outside that play before with Heath Sherman. You know, when you have 4 linebackers on your team and they all make the Pro Bowl, there aren't going to be a lot of holes to run anywhere.
No, that's a pretty good credential. 2nd and 10. Walker is the lone back behind Cunningham. Hit, fumble. Jackson made the hit on Cunningham, and the Saints have the football. Wayne Martin.
Jackson's going to come from up the top of the screen. He goes right by Antone Davis, and he puts the hit, the strip, and everything on Randall Cunningham. He did speed, and then he hit him with power.
Just too quick for Antone Davis. Saints take over.
He's looking down the middle to the left. He doesn't see Jackson at all. Jackson hits both shoulders, and the impact of that hit just knocked the ball out of Randall Cunningham's hands. Usually, when a guy comes to your face, you see him. Cunningham was looking the other way.
Ricky Jackson, well, you can't say enough good things about him.
To me, he's the best of all of them.
Here's Hebert. Dunbar. Out of bounds at the Philadelphia 32 by John Booty. Vaughn Dunbar.
And again, Bobby Hebert is playing the game of his life because he doesn't have perfect pass protection today. They're covering there, they're nicking away at him, but he's able to find the open guy, get the ball out of there before they get there, get it to him, and then his guys are able to catch the ball, get open, and then make runs like this after they catch it.
Dunbar, their first-round draft choice, a guy they were a little bit disappointed in, but not today.
Well, and again, if Dalton Hilliard doesn't get hurt, maybe Dunbar doesn't play as much as he is.
Well, that's right. You just think back to yesterday and the Redskin victory. And the heroes of that game. Dunbar takes it outside. Flag on the play. Seth Joyner. This has got to be a face match.
Well, the fans know what the fans are calling it. They're going crazy here. They saw that. They didn't have to wait for the official to say it. They saw Seth Joyner put his hand right there in Dunbar's face mask.
No first down.
And I think they could have got a double shot there.
First down, Saints.
It's really tough to tackle. You're just trying to grab something. These guys are so elusive. You just throw your arm around there and you just touch or grab a face mask, and that'll happen a lot.
1st and 5 it is now after the penalty. Bud Carson, who directs the Eagle defense. Greg Hayward now is the running back for the Saints. And he gets the carry. Clyde Simmons stopped Iron Head after he picked up 2.
You want to see something about that play that is interesting? you have run blitzes, and you're going to blitz in here. And when you do that, Bud Carson makes a good call. But when you have Ironhead Hayward, you can run right into a run blitz and still make yardage. When they call the run blitz, that's the perfect call. And when they blitz in the hole you're running, you shouldn't make any yardage. When you have Ironhead Hayward, Bud Carson's looking at this, what the heck do I have to do? I call a run blitz, I go into the hole, and they still make it.
2nd and 3. Dunbar is back. And he gets the carry, and Dunbar is close to a first down, not quite. Clyde Simmons again on the bottom of the pile.
There we saw Bud Carson down there. He's doing everything he can to stop this one, because if they don't stop him now, they're down 17-7. They know that they can be put away right here.
And that clock is still running at 7:40 left in the 3rd quarter.
And this is a big 3rd down here. They would like to make them settle for a field goal here.
3rd, about a half yard they need.
With a guy like Ironhead in the backfield as a blocker or runner, here he's in a position to be a lead blocker. It's hard to stop him for less than a yard.
Dunbar is deep. And Hebert gets to him. Close to the first down, I don't know. Very close. Ken Rose and William Frizzell made the stop. They mark it back where I don't think he got it now. And here comes Anderson.
Yeah, that was a big defense for the Philadelphia Eagles. They had to do that. You see, Ironhead leads out here, but the penetration inside hurt him. You see, his own guy got knocked into him. I think Chris Port gets knocked out, or the center gets knocked out. You see the guard pulling Port, number 70. You see, he pulls, and as he pulls, he gets knocked back. He gets knocked back into Ironhead.
So Anderson will have a go at it from 42 yards away. Perfect. The Saints lead it 20-7, 6:28 in the 3rd left.
Watch Reggie White on that. He takes Hobie Brenner, knocks him back, and just throws off the whole play.
Port can't get out, Hayward can't get through, and neither can Dunbar.
That's what you call raising havoc and maybe a 4-point play.
Morton Anderson roots it out of the end zone, no return. The Eagles will have 80 yards to go. 20-7, the Saints lead it. The wild card game between the Saints and the Eagles, led by New Orleans 20-7. That's Jim McMahon. We might see him again, and maybe not.
I don't think if you see him this season, I don't think you're going to see him with the Eagles anymore. I think he'll be one of those guys that will go to another team next year.
Cunningham rolls. Incomplete, intended for Byers. Swilling put the pressure on Cunningham. Jones was the defender.
Well, that's a bootleg, and Swilling is responsible for the bootleg. You see, if we stop it right here, you see the back goes this way. Cunningham is going to come this way. Swilling right here has the contain. You know, that's a bootleg. You see him come up in the contain. He stops Randall, makes him go back and throw when he doesn't want to. It doesn't give him the option of run and pass.
2nd and 10. The Saints are showing a blitz right now. Let's see if they back out of it. They did. Pass is complete to Barney. And the pursuit is there by the Saints in a hurry. Sam Mills stopped him after a gain of 5. It'll bring up 3rd down.
You know, wherever the ball goes, this Saint defense swarms. And it seems like they have for the last 6 or 7 years that they all swarm. Whether it's run or pass, everyone gets to the ball. And you know, you talk about a lot of defensive coordinators and guys, but one of the best ones, I think, is here in New Orleans, is Steve Sidwell.
I know we always remark we don't do a lot of their games, but when we see him on tape playing someone else, we always remark how well coached they are.
They're always in the right place, and they tackle. They're fundamentally strong.
Incomplete. Cunningham had time intended for Williams, and they'll have to punt. Jimmy Spencer was the closest Saint defender. The crowd acknowledges their defense.
This crowd knows and loves defense. And here they know how to celebrate. It was just a couple of nights ago that they were Alabama and Miami were playing down here. I can compare this celebration if the Saints win to that celebration when Alabama won.
Great kick by Jeff Beagles, bounces once and goes out of bounds at about the Saint 25-yard line. 50 yards. I can see why he loves to kick here.
Now, I think if you had to pick of the teams going into the playoffs, the best team, I think it would be unanimous for the 49ers.
Hebert throws the interception to Eric Allen. Clyde Simmons put the heat on Hebert.
And after a timeout, you know, first down, they're trying to take a shot. They go the play pass. Again, Eric Allen has good coverage back there. Hebert looked to his right. I think he was just trying to look it off. Then he had to throw it because Simmons was there, and he threw it right to Eric Allen. You know, that'll take a little off the ball when you get hit as you're throwing it, sometimes just enough to make an interception.
McMahon in the dark glasses, of course, talking to Rich Kotite.
Anytime a guy with sunglasses at a football game puts his arm around you, he's trying to con you.
Especially indoors. Here's Cunningham back to throw it. He gets it outside to Heath Sherman. Sherman taken down by Toy Cook. A gain of 8. The last 5 times the Eagles have had the ball haven't been all that good.
Well, you know, they haven't had enough plays. As you look, they haven't had enough plays to get anything going other than that one time when they had 9 plays, and of course that ended up in a fumble. So, you know, they just shot themselves in the foot when they finally got something going, and then the other times they never got anything going.
4.5 minutes left to play in the third quarter. The Saints up 20-7. On the draw play, Sherman will get an Eagle first down.
I'll tell you, once you get cut, I've always found out in life, and by once you get cut, then you want to finish it quick. You'll jump into anything. You ever notice that? I mean, the first time before a guy gets cut, then he doesn't jump into things. But once you get cut, boom, you're right in there on anything.
Got some blood on the hat?
I know it. I know it. He got the whole thing. Blood on the hat. He has an attitude now. I think he even has a black eye.
Oh, he's got to make the team.
Yeah. He's cutting it out.
Cunningham back to throw it. Complete to Byers up the middle. Stopped by Mills and Ricky Jackson.
Now, this must be 1993. I mean, they got stuff. They never had anything like this when I was coaching, Pat. I have no idea. I mean, they got stuff coming out of here. They got stuff coming out of here. They're looking at stuff over there. And then they write stuff on them and then send them.
Somebody wants his autograph.
Look at that. Then they staple them.
Even a paper clip. That's about the only thing they had.
That's unbelievable. 1993. We just had a piece of chalk and a blackboard.
This is Heath Sherman, and he'll get an Eagle first down. The ball came loose after he was down, but that's a first.
And the guy delivers them right to the coaches. Then he runs back to get another batch of paper. Look at that group. There's 5 guys to do that. They got extra paper. They got monitors. They got stuff.
Look at this.
You put something in and stuff comes out.
If you didn't have that machine, that could be a domino game somewhere in the park.
It just winds up behind the bench and players don't even look at it.
First and 10. Here's Cunningham back to throw it. Outside to Heath Sherman. Got away from one tackler. Bangs his way down inside the 25 to about the 22-yard line. A gain of 16. Gene Atkins knocked him out of bounds.
Yeah, the Eagles are having success not working inside, but working outside the ends now, whether on the pass, a quick pass like this to Heath Sherman, or the run outside to Heath Sherman. I think they started off trying to run inside, but getting their backs outside, they're having some success with now.
Sherman out of the game, and it looks like he might be hurt just a bit. Herschel Walker's replaced him. Maybe just the wind knocked out of him. That's Byers in motion. Walker hit behind the line or right at the line of scrimmage by Vaughn Johnson. Not much.
Yeah, you see Vaughn Johnson, Sam Mills in there. Sam Mills was saying yesterday, so what you try and do with Herschel is when he comes in that hole, get him to beat his feet. You know, in other words, instead of going forwards or going side, just kind of run in place, beat your feet. And if you get in there quickly, that'll make you beat your feet.
There are those 4 Pro Bowl selections. Walker still the lone back. He has 3 carries for 3 yards. Barnett goes in motion this time. And Cunningham back to throw. Incomplete. Calvin Williams had to dive back and couldn't hang on.
You know, Richie Kotite is one of those head coaches that calls his own plays. You know, most teams have an offensive coordinator that calls plays. Richie Kotite, the head coach, calls his own plays, as does Joe Gibbs of the Washington Redskins.
3rd and long. About 11.
This is when the Eagles like this shotgun. I think Randall Cunningham feels more comfortable in this formation than any other.
The big handoff is to Heath Sherman. Cunningham under pressure, fires. That's going to be incomplete, intended for Heath Sherman. Frank Warren put the heat, along with Wayne Martin, on Cunningham.
Now they know that on 3rd down and long, you're not going to go for the fake. You see those 4 guys are coming up in pass rush. Although Swilling came off, he came off with Herschel Walker down here in the bottom. That helped him more than the fake.
Roger Ruzek in to try the field goal with Fiegels holding just outside the 40. Just outside the 30, add the 10 to the goalpost. 40-yard field goal is good. With just over a minute left to play in the 3rd quarter, it's 20-10. Saints lead. It hurt. Now the coach.
Yeah, when you have to tape up a referee and a head coach in the same game, you know that the intensity level has risen. You know that you're in a playoff. You know that there's no tomorrow and all those things. Richie Kotite, though, is a guy that's been taped up before. You know, when he was in college, he was a heavyweight champion. In fact, he sparred when he was down at Miami. He sparred with Muhammad Ali.
But he said, I never hit him.
Oh, yeah, and he probably never took too many hits either. That was probably one of those shadow boxing things.
Ruzek's kickoff is high and deep. It's going to be Dunbar. Deep in the end zone, deep enough to down it. And so the Saints will start from their own 20.
You know, an interesting thing, talking about boxing and Richie Kotite, when he arrived here in New Orleans last night, he had a phone message from Willie Pastrana.
Remember that name?
The old fighter, yeah. And I guess Willie Pastrana was down here, and he said he used to train in the same gym with Muhammad Ali, Angelo Dundee, Rich Kotite, and Willie Pastrana.
Stillman's Gym?
Yeah, oh, you can't beat those places. No. You talk about smells. Those are some of the great smells in life. Good old boxing gym. The other one is down there in the football field. You know, I mean, you can't beat that. That's what it's all about. Then, you know, winners stay, winners go on, losers go home. You can't beat it.
Hayward is the lone setback. Hebert, of course, still the quarterback. 1st and 10 at the 20. The handoff to Ironhead. Maybe 3 yards. Byron Evans made the stop. You just sort of, at least I do, John, get the sensation that the Eagles' level of intensity is rising and the Saints might be leveling off a little bit.
Well, I think what you have with the Eagles, it's probably intensity that is driven by urgency. And you get to a point that, you know, when time starts running out on you, you know, it's darn near the end of the 3rd quarter. There's only one more quarter to get 10 points. So urgency starts coming in there.
Intensity driven by urgency means that you better get something done.
That means there's a heck of a lot of adrenaline coming from somewhere.
Small was the motion man on 2nd down. Hebert back to throw it. Inside to Hobie Brenner. Almost a shot at an interception. interception by Mark McMillan. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Saints 20, the Eagles 10. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local station.
You're what McMillan, he thought that he had the ball in the interception. I'll tell you, and if he caught that ball, if Mark McMillan catches that ball, that could have been a touchdown for the Eagles. That's about as close as a reception can get.
Third and short, big play here. They're all big. What am I talking about? Hebert. Incomplete. Eric Martin was the intended receiver. That's a strange call.
Well, it is, because you have Ironhead Hayward in there, and again, you think they're just going to run him, and they throw that slant in there. The slant, you know, the best thing, that's probably their highest percentage pass. And again, they tried to catch the Eagles off balance, but the Eagles were very solid on defense.
Barnhart back to punt. Sikahema back deep for the Eagles. He will field this one at his own 24. Gets it back to about the 35. A 12-yard return. Winston made the stop. Not a 23. That's on the day. One sack by the Saints. Herschel Walker and Keith Byers combined have a total of 18 yards. First down, Philadelphia at their own 36. 20-10. The Saints lead with 14:45 left to play. Good protection for Cunningham this time. Going deep for Barnett. Incomplete. Keith Taylor back with Barnett. That's that shot that you said they have to take.
Yeah, and I think the one thing it had to go with using Byers, though. I mean, getting something to Byers and Walker short and then going deep to Barnett. I think that they have to take that shot. I think they have to keep taking that shot. That one was incomplete, but we remember in the first half, they took that shot one time, and that was a 7-point shot.
Brings up 2nd and 10. 20-10, Saints leading. Byers, the tight end, to the left. Cunningham back to throw. Outside to Heath Sherman. Cut down by Reggie Jones. Reginald or Reggie.
I think when he makes the play and makes the tackle, you can call him Reggie or Reginald. He wouldn't care. It's when they, you know, those corners are out there on an island sometimes when they're in man-to-man coverage, and when they cover, you never mention them or see them or talk about them. And when someone beats them and they get wide open, they're always mentioned. So,
and it's always their fault.
Yeah, and I think if you mention something and it's good, it could be either Reggie or Jim Mora says, I don't know, I always call him Reggie. Jim Mora's son, Jimmy Mora, is the defensive backfield coach. He calls him Reggie. And on the program, it's listed as Reginald.
They need 5 for a first. They'll have that. Calvin Williams right at midfield. 8-yard pickups. Knocked out of bounds by Spencer.
And again, Spencer's just playing a zone. You see, he was playing deep. He was going back. He was reading the quarterback. And then Williams was just able to come under control and catch that ball in front of the zone.
For the most part, John, this Eagle offensive line has done a good job protecting Cunningham.
Yeah, and the big thing is the Eagles haven't had a lot of first downs, and they really haven't been able to run much.
That's Heath Sherman. To about the 44, a gain of 7. Sam Mills made the stop.
Yeah, this is what Heath Sherman was talking about last night, about having vision in the hole. See, with his head up, now with his head up, he was able to see that. He was able to see that linebacker, Ricky Jackson, coming hard from that outside and make a stop. Had he had his head down, he would have had a heck of a collision with Ricky Jackson.
2nd and 3, Sherman's the lone setback. Heath Sherman stopped short of a first down. It'll bring up 3rd and about 2. Clock running less than 13 minutes now. 10-point lead for the New Orleans Saints.
You know, an interesting play that really stopped the New Orleans Saint momentum and gave it to the Eagles was Reggie White's play when it was 3rd down when the Eagles Eagles, had that third down in defense. The Saints were going in. They needed a foot or so, and Reggie stopped them. And then from that time on, it seemed like that took the steam out of the Saints and gave the Eagles a little more.
They had to settle for a field goal to get their 20 points. They need a couple of yards for a first down. Cunningham retreats. Byers will have the Eagle first down at the 35, a gain of 7, stopped by Cedric Mack.
Yeah, one thing about the Eagles, they're a funny team. Sometimes, they'll go for a first half, they won't do anything, and then they'll come back and have a big second half. Or they'll go for 3 quarters and then come back in the 4th quarter. Somewhere they have to get into a rhythm. Then once they get into a rhythm, they can get a lot of points quickly.
They're getting into that rhythm right now. 1st and 10 at the Saint 35. Silent count, starts his man in motion. Fake, gonna roll, goes behind Byers. Swilling might have tipped it.
Yeah, if we looked at that play, remember, here's Reggie White here, and watch how he's going to stack up. This was a 3rd down play when the Saints had the ball. I think the Saints had the ball. They needed a first down. They had momentum, everything going. Reggie White piled up everything, made a great play, and they had to settle for a field goal. So that, to me, was a 4-point defensive play, and it also started to tip the scales.
2nd and 10. The Eagles at the Saint 35. 11.5 minutes left to play. Cunningham. Flag on the play. Pass is incomplete and out of bounds, but a penalty marker down. Holding against the Eagles.
I see a helmet down. There's a lot of stuff down. Ricky Jackson lost his helmet. There's a flag, the ball, everything was down there. Ricky Jackson lost some pieces to his helmet. Say, there is a tough guy. I don't know how you measure it, and you tend to say a lot of players are tough guys.
Number 78 of the offense, 10 yards, still 2nd down.
Antone Davis, who was trying to block Ricky Jackson.
And he probably did. And here's Antone Davis here. He's going to be blocking against Ricky Jackson. And you'll see Jackson coming. I guess he hit him to the head with that right hand, knocked his helmet off, and then hit him again after he knocked his helmet off. But Jackson just kept coming. It didn't make any difference, did it? With or without helmet.
2nd and 20. Now the Saints can turn him loose. Not that he don't ever play. To Byers. He got back about 9 or 10 of those 20 they needed. Cook and Vaughn Johnson made the stop.
And again, they're in the 4th quarter, and I've always felt that the first thing you do, because remember in playoffs, this is true sudden death. There's no one period of overtime. You play until someone wins. I've always felt when you're behind, you play for the tie first, then you go for the win. So the Eagles need 10 points, a combination of a touchdown and a field goal, and it can be in either order.
3rd and 10. They might be just a little far for a field goal if they don't pick up a few yards here. Cunningham going deep. Touchdown! Fred Barnett, a diving catch, spectacular catch from 35 yards away. They had him covered.
And he's the type of guy that can do that. I've always said Fred Barnett is one of the best deep pass receivers in football. He can do it against man. He can do it against zone. He can do it against double coverage. Here it is again. They had double coverage. They have 2 guys on him. Fred Barnett goes up and catches the ball. I think you just have to keep doing that in a game. You do that 6 or 7 times a game, you'll get 2 or 3 touchdowns.
That'll make a lot of highlights. Extra point by Ruzek is good. Barnett has 2 touchdowns, 4 catches. And it's 20-17 with 10:37 left. What a catch. Saints lead the Eagles by 3 with 10:37 left to play.
Now, they aren't going to say the Saints are too conservative. They're probably going to question those 2 third down plays. One where Reggie White made the great play, and then again again when they had 3rd and short, and they went for the pass and went incomplete on it.
This is Dunbar. He's going to bring it out of the end zone from 2 yards deep. Dunbar tripped up and fumbled, but he was down. 28-yard return by Vaughn Dunbar.
Let's watch the touchdown bat. Here's Fred Barnett. Here's Reggie Jones. Barnett gets inside him. Here's where the double is going to end up at the end. But again, Fred Barnett just out jumps him. See how he gets inside Jones right there? Now it's a race. It's a foot race. The safety's coming over. They got him inside out. Fred Barnett just jumps up and out jumps him. And watch Randall Cunningham and the pressure that he had. Did he take a hit from Ricky Jackson?
To get that ball that far, that's quite an effort. Hebert. Pass is picked off right in the middle. Seth Joyner made the interception. Nobody was close. The Eagles will have it at the 20. The discussion continues.
Boy, we're talking about words like intensity, about finality. I think these pictures show it here. Seth Joyner is going to make the interception. Hebert has to scramble a little. See, he starts to move out here. He gets pressure. He throws across his body. Watch the block that Golick is going to get on that. Number 90. Boy, did he deplete someone. You see right here, he's just throwing across his body. I don't think he saw anything on that play.
Well, Seth Joyner was saying last night, in critical, crucial situations, the Saints looked to Eric Martin, and he was the only person that Hebert could have been looking at.
And Seth Joyner says that he's going to be looking for Eric Martin.
And he was. First down, Eagles. Sherman struggles for just a little bit. Couple of yards, maybe. Jim Wilkes and Vaughn Johnson.
Jim Mora knew that he had this one under wraps. You know, he had everything going for him, and again, you go down to that 3rd down play. And to me, that was the game turnaround when Reggie White made that play on short yardage. They had to kick the field goal. Then they had another 3rd down, and they went for the pass.
When you get
incomplete.
When you get this far, nothing is under wraps. 2nd and 8.
I'll tell you, Bugs, you talk about the finality of it. For one of these teams, it's all going to be over.
Here's Cunningham, flag on the play. It's out to Heath Sherman. He fumbles out of bounds. It'll still be the Eagles' ball, but let's see about the penalty. Atkins took him down. Here's a guy who's been busy. That's going to be against the Saints, I believe. There will be a discussion.
Now, these teams have really gone after each other today. We knew that it was going to be a defensive struggle because both defenses are so good, but you just can't accept that. I mean, the offenses have to make something happen. In the first half, Bobby Hebert and the Saints did.
5 yards from the previous spot. Still 2nd down.
Here's 57 right there. That's who they have to be calling. Ricky Jackson, who's had a heck of a day today. You know, what happened is he went off on the snap. He went with the snap. The rest of the Eagle line didn't. Ricky Jackson wasn't offsides. He went with the ball, but the Eagle line didn't go with the ball.
That's only Saint penalty. A very crucial one. 2nd down now. Still 2nd down and 3. That's Heath Sherman. Knocked backwards, still on his feet. And Sherman comes out of a stack of players and gets a first down. Gene Atkins finally put him down. A 4-yard pickup.
Again, this is what the Saints do best, is play that inside run, make them force to the inside. What the Eagles wanted to do was run at their left side, run at Pat Swilling. Rich Kotite said there's not a lot of running there anyway, but if you're going to get a softer side, it'll be offensive to your left or their right defensive side.
1st and 10 Eagles. They're at the Saint 15, trailing by 3. Sherman nudges for short yardage. Wilkes made the stop on Heath Sherman.
He has been doing a good job over there as Brian Baldinger, David Alexander, the center, Baldinger, the left guard, and Ron Heller. They've been getting movement over there. Baldinger is one of those guys. It seems like every team has a Baldinger on it. There's been 3 brothers that have been offensive line. Mike Shad is the normal starting left guard. He's been injured. Baldinger's come in. Every time I've seen him, this guy's played a heck of a game, including today.
He's played every position in the offensive line.
And he also played tight end. He's the only guy in the NFL that's done that.
You need a guy like that. Byers from Cunningham, stopped by Reggie Jones. But Byers, with that last little lunge, got 6, and he's saying it should be up there instead of back here.
Well, the Eagles are using Byers in motion a lot today. They're putting him in motion, throwing to him, putting him in motion, throwing him away from him, putting him in motion, running to him, and run away from him, but always having him move the whole game.
3rd down, a little bit over a yard.
You know, defense, everyone knows about defense, and this is where defense is tested. This is where if you're going to do it, if you're going to be defense, you need it now.
3rd down, Heath Sherman. He'll have the first down. He'll have the touchdown. From 6 yards out, the Eagles take the lead. And it's been that old bugaboo turnover that's done the Saints in. 2 interceptions. And that 3rd down play by Reggie White.
And the Eagles found some running, Pat. They found it over on that left side. They were looking for a soft spot. They found it. Heath Sherman's speed, his quickness, his darting. Of course, I think Randall Cunningham loosened him up with that deep pass to Fred Barnett, though.
Ruzek for the extra point. And good.
Watch this left side of the Eagle offensive line. Baldinger, who I was just talking about, he got the best block, the block on Swilling. That was the one that freed him.
And the Eagles lead 24-20.
That'll be something there thanks to those players and to Jimmy Johnson and his staff, a staff that I think in a short time has developed into one of the best in the league.
They've done a whale of a job. Ruzek's kickoff. Lined over Dunbar's head and out of the end zone. And another look, John, at the touchdown.
Well, you know, we're talking about the old guard. Watch Baldinger. He's a left guard. He's going to pull out here, block Swilling here, and that's the block that's going to free Sherman. You see him, boom, boom, right there. He gets him just enough to give him that soft corner out there.
And that's a tough block to cut a guy like Swilling like that.
Yeah, because you're starting from the inside and you have to hook him. Usually you hook them from the outside or from head up. When you have to start inside, 2 men removed and get them, that's a good play.
New Orleans' last 3 possessions have been 1 play followed by an interception, 3 plays and a punt, and 1 play and another interception. Hebert back to throw. Pass to Early. And a flag on the play.
And that came from that area, Pat, where they usually call it on or against the tight end. You know, that guy that's deep in the middle, he's usually watching or keying the tight end, and it's going to be against the Saints. So it's usually the tight end holding.
Offense, number 84, 10 yards, still first down.
Call against Martin. I would imagine Dale Hamer, the referee, might check out the parts on the way home tonight.
Oh yeah, I mean, on any NFL game that on Monday every player in the league gets up and he's stiff and sore. Dale Hamer is going to wake up stiff and sore tomorrow.
Hayward is the setback behind Hebert. Back to throw it. Batted back into the end zone. This time it's hit by Mike Golick.
Golick's made a couple of big plays here at the end on that Seth Joyner interception. He's a guy that made a big block. Then watch him, number 90 in the middle. He's just a cop. He's watching out for draw, for screen, staying on the line of scrimmage, and again, taking away a passing lane with his hand. You see, you get the pass rush, and then you take away the lane with your hand. He goes to throw and come back, you jump up. Then you just put your hand in that lane.
2nd and 20. Eagles up by 4 points. Bears screen pass to Dunbar. All over him is Byron Evans. A loss of 4 yards. The pass was complete.
And that was man-to-man. Evans is in perfect position. He's man-to-man all the way. You see 56? He's watching him all the way. Man-to-man. He's going to take him. And they just throw it out there to Dunbar, and there's Byron Evans. It's tough. You like to throw a screen or that loop when they're in zone, when they all drop off, not when they're man-to-man.
Since that 3rd down play we were talking about, you were talking about, those are the total yards. The Eagles have gotten 95. The Saints with that loss -4. It's 3rd and 23 here now.
That's why Reggie White is an impact player, and that goes all the way back to the first play in the 4th quarter.
Blitz Hebert in the end zone. That could be a safety. That is a safety. Reggie White tripped Hebert in the end zone. He tried to lunge and get it out, couldn't make it.
That's why they call them impact players. That's why they call them dominant players. Reggie White in this 2nd half became a dominant player. Reggie White took over this game.
That's the first sack by the Eagles today.
And here's Reggie White out here. Let's just watch him. Again, he'll do it with power and he'll do it with speed. He starts into Stan Brock. That's his bull rush. You start in, you just get him going back. He just knocks old Stan Brock. See, once you get him lifted up, then you can knock him back. He just runs right over Stan Brock, and in the process, he runs right over Bobby Hebert. See, he's coming from Hebert's right, knocks Stan Brock down, runs over him, and knocks Hebert down for a 2-point safety. And then, the amazing thing about it, for an old defensive lineman, he even knows the signals for a safety.
Well, Stan Brock was saying yesterday, what about Reggie White? Well, he's a man, as you said earlier. And Brock said it's like grabbing a bear with short arms.
Yeah, like playing against a bear. He said, once he gets on you, he says, you can't block him. He said, what you have to do is try and redirect him, take him the way he's going. You know, the officials out there whistling for the Saints team to come out. They wouldn't come out. There's the rules of a safety. 2 points to the defensive team. Then the Saints get a free kick from the 20-yard line, and they usually punt.
That'll be by Barnhart. Jim Mora, he's done a whale of a job in New Orleans. He felt good, as he told you on Friday, about coming into this playoff game. But he said the Eagles are the best team we've faced in the playoffs.
And he has a good team, and he's done a heck of a job of coaching, and they had everything going for him, and they just lost it. They lost the momentum, but the Eagles took it away from them, too.
Second him out. Makes the free kick and gets it back to about the 38-yard line, where the Eagles will begin on offense. 26-20. The Eagles lead a 56-yard punt by Barnhart.
See that? It looked like Randall Cunningham was trying to calm Rich Kotite down. Should be the opposite. Should be the old cool coach calming the quarterback down. One thing about Randall Cunningham, everything didn't go his way early, but he did stay calm.
The 2 long touchdown passes to Fred Barnett. And his composure have brought the Eagles back.
And now if you have defense, you better bring it out now.
Heath Sherman is the lone setback, and the Eagles give it to him, and he's got some room. Sherman gets an Eagle first down, a pickup of 12 yards. Toy Cook finally tripped him up. Boy, there's a guy who sort of was in the back seat for a while, Heath Sherman. But since they put him in the backfield with Walker, Walker's been quiet, but he hasn't.
Yeah, and then they moved Byers to tight end, and that really changed this team around offensively. But to me, it's still Randall Cunningham and then the big play, Fred Barnett. But today, this guy Baldinger's done a heck of a job. I mean, you hate to pick out Brian Baldinger, but he really does. He and Heller on that left side, that's where they've been getting all those yards. In this second half, they came out, and that side had a good pep talk, that left side of the Eagle offense.
And they've done a good job keeping. This is Sherman again, straight ahead. A pickup of 6, stopped by Atkins. What do you think about the job Heller's done? We haven't heard much from Swilling as far as rushing the passer is concerned, and he's one of the best.
Yeah, Heller's done a good job. I mean, he's one of those tough guys. He brings a defensive mentality, a scrappy mentality to the game. He'll fight everything. He's not the quickest guy on a pass protection, although, as you say, Swilling has been quiet today, but he's a very good run blocker. Reggie, you don't want to start congratulating too soon.
Nope.
Not in this deal. Not here. Well, you don't congratulate, start shaking hands now.
2nd and 4. Sherman again. Away from Swilling. First down, Eagles. Out of bounds. Inside the 30 by Reggie Jones, but a gain of 16 for Heath Sherman.
Everyone's yelling for Heath Sherman, stay in bounds, stay in bounds. But they have dominated the second half, this Eagle offense, and this Eagle offensive line, and these running backs. Heath Sherman has really dominated this New Orleans Saint defense.
And he just got over 100 yards, in fact, 106. He's also caught 3 passes.
And you saw Fred Barnett down there tell, stay in bounds, stay in bounds. Keep that clock going, 3:46.
Look at the rushing yards this half when you need it. This is Walker this time. Herschel stacked up at about the 28, a gain of 2. Ricky Jackson. Today's game was produced by Bob Stenner and directed by Sandy Grossman. The coordinating producer of the NFL Today is Eric Mann. The NFL Today was directed by Duke Struck, and the senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin.
And that's why when you talk about the best defensive lineman in football, you have to say it's Reggie White.
Certainly, he is among the elite.
He can dominate a game.
Yeah.
He can come in and take over and dominate and win a game, and I think he did it in this game today.
This is Walker. Takes to the sideline and out of bounds. Just a little bit shy of a first down. He got 7, however, as Vaughn Johnson put him down.
You also think of the job that the Eagle offensive line has done. Randall Cunningham has done. Fred Barnett getting open against any kind of coverage. And, of course, Heath Sherman, when they needed the running, Heath Sherman was the guy who got it for him.
Timeout, New Orleans, with 2:48 left to play.
And Seth Joyner, he knew that Eric Martin was going to catch those passes in there. Eric Martin started out with a lot of success catching those passes in there. And at the end, it was Seth Joyner who had the last laugh. He got that interception that set up the touchdown.
This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, and this CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the New Orleans Saints, and the National Football League is prohibited.
There's Stan Brock, the 13-year veteran, has been through it all here at New Orleans, has had to live with the fact New Orleans Saints never won a playoff game. Hey, that's tough. I mean, to do so well to come so close and then not get over that hump, that hump will always haunt you.
3rd and short. Heath Sherman. The line of scrimmage. Didn't get it. Swilling made the tackle, a loss of 2, and here comes the Eagle field goal team.
I think the Eagles were probably playing for field goal there, Pat, knowing that with a 6-point lead, a field goal would give them 9 and then take it out of being able to be beaten by a touchdown.
This is an Eagle timeout as they get their field goal team in with 2:40 left to play, and the Eagles up 26-20.
That was a good defensive play. I mean, if the Eagles get that first down or go on in and score, then this game can be over. The only way to make it not be over was to make that defensive play.
4th within, it looks like, about 3 yards, perhaps. It got the field goal team in with Eagles holding. This was not an Eagles timeout. The first indication I got was that it was a Eagle timeout. I couldn't believe that, and I was right in not believing it. It was a New Orleans timeout from 39 yards away. Ruzek with Eagles holding. And he has let it perfect. It's 29-20. With 2:36 left to play.
And Jim Mora and Rich Kotite both realized how that changed the game, because right now the Eagles know that they can play defense to protect against 2 scores. Jim Mora realized when that one went through that now he needs 2 scores.
Well, Kotite, well, let's look at the field goal first. Looked like he might have hit the ground first, and yeah, he did. Wasn't clean, but it was far enough and good enough.
Yeah, and it was high and straight down the middle, and darn near went into that basket up there. They give him 5 points if you hit it in the basket. You know, the Saints are taking a lot of time in their huddle on the sideline on special teams, and the referee keeps whistling them to get out there, and they won't get out there. They're staying in the sideline. They did this after the safety, too. Everyone starts whistling, saying, get out there, and they won't come out. They got a lot of talking to do.
They can't take too long or they'll get a penalty. I don't know if that's going to be a big factor, but it would let Ruzek kick off.
Well,
one certainly kick it out of the end zone.
One thing in that situation, there's no clock running, so there's no time against that, but the important clock that's running says 2 minutes, 36 seconds with a score 29-20. That's what the Eagles have to protect and what the Saints have to fight against.
Boy, you think about the 2 games today, Houston and Buffalo, and what happened to that one. You get ahead and you start to get a little conservative. You start to try to protect that lead, and look what happened. Look what happened to Houston, and look what happened to the Saints here.
I think a big part of it here, what happened to the Saints, you have to give credit to the Eagles, too, because they came and they were given a little, but they took a lot.
They totally dominated the second half, no question about it. Ruzek's kick going to be handled by Newman. He's down at the 15. 15-yard return next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern Time, the NFC Divisional Playoff game. Washington at San Francisco. That's where John and I will be. And next Sunday, either New Orleans or Philadelphia, whoever wins this game at Dallas. Right now, it looks like the Eagles can start making reservations. Anything could happen, but
remember the last time they played the Cowboys, Emmitt Smith had a great game. We did that game, and I think that was Emmitt Smith's finest day. From
Andy Harmon, just throws it on the ground. Hit hard by Harmon, knocked backwards.
You know, Andy Harmon has made some plays today. He's made some plays as a linebacker when he would fake the rush and get up there. He's come in and become a pretty solid player. You see, he's number 91 there. He gives that slap to the, to the shoulder, to the left-handed shoulder, goes on inside straight up at Hebert. He has been a big surprise and a very solid performer for this Eagle team. Of course, the loss of Jerome Brown devastated this Eagle team. Andy Harmon was one of the guys who stepped in to help.
Here's Hebert back to throw. Picked off by Eric Allen. And get ready for Dallas. The Eagles, 35-20 now. 18-yard touchdown return by Eric Allen. Remember, it was Eric Allen that knocked down the pass in the end zone intended for Gary Clark when they got into the playoffs against the Redskins.
This team here is going to have to live with the fact they've never won a playoff game. This one, it gets a monkey off their back. They hadn't won a playoff game since 1980. Reggie White was telling us last night that he has never been on a championship team in his life.
At any level.
Yeah, he couldn't even get a baseball or a basketball team in high school, but this one has a chance.
Ruzek's extra point is good. taking over in the second half in New Orleans on the road, lead it by 16 points now. 2:17 left to play.
You know, and I still think you go back to that play and that third down play that Reggie White made. I think that turned around the whole game. And again, the other guys had to do it. I mean, once Reggie helped it, you know, the offense had to come and do it. The coaches and everyone had to do it. You know, you talk about the play. Here it is. What happens is Reggie White's a third down play. He hits Hobie Brenner. That knocks off the guard pulling and the fullback leading, and they don't get the first down. I mean, just one man comes in there. Watch Reggie White, 92, knocks his guy back, knocks the guard back. That knocks the fullback off, and they don't get the first down.
And they had to settle for the field goal.
And that was the 4-point play. And then from that time on, it just seemed like the Eagle defense took over the game. The Eagle offense took over the game. And that was a turning point for the Eagles going up and the New Orleans Saints going down.
Houston led earlier today, this in the AFC. Houston led 35-3 and lost 41-38. The Saints led 20-7. Now they're behind 36-20.
And then someone's going to say in these playoffs, in 1993, when you get in the playoffs, you want to start off behind because then you'll win. Like that overthing. If a guy gains 100 yards, they win. A bunch of baloney. They won and they gained 100 yards.
Well, they can say what they want to. It'll be a lot of highlights, but this Eagle outfit has done a good job.
And that coach has done a good job.
Boy.
I mean, I think that Rich Kotite is probably the most underrated coach in the NFL. I mean, he wins his 10, 12 games, and no one even knows he's in the league. Of course, and Randall Cunningham is a relief guy, too. I mean, because he's been living with that stat that he's 0 for 3 in playoff. He's not 0 for anymore.
Not anymore. Kick after the penalty. They were called for roughing the kicker, so he kicked off from 10 yards closer, kicked it out of the end zone, and so the Saints will start at the 20. 2:13 left to play. And someone said to us in the elevator this morning when we were leaving the hotel, if the Saints lose, I'm going to have the blues. There's going to be a lot of blues in town tonight.
Yeah. And you can tell by the crowd, the absence of the crowd. This was a full house going crazy. And now it's about a quarter full house, very quiet. But the Eagles made them that way. I mean, the Eagles did it the second half.
Here's Hebert going to take off, not throw it again. Stopped by Mike Flores after he scrambled up the minute for 5 yards. And we get the 2-minute warning. The Eagles leading by 16 points, 36-20.
Ever since Mitsubishi began building automobiles over 75 years ago, the diamond has been used as the unbending guiding principle of Mitsubishi quality. The name Mitsubishi means 3 diamonds. And for its diamond anniversary, Mitsubishi created the Diamante, a luxury performance sedan that is brilliant in every facet. The Diamante from Mitsubishi. Lease a 93 Diamante ES, just $299 a month.
This royal throne of kings, this happy breed of men, this earth of majesty, this little world.
The airline that's uniting the world, United, brings you non-stop service from 6 U.S. cities to London's Heathrow and the land of poets.
This blessed plot, this earth, this realm, this England.
Come fly the friendly skies.
Get me a boat to take me there. Silver sands on the white hot beach. All of my friends and time to spare. A cold silver bullet in my reach. It's the place of the Rockies with the cold crisp air. A silver bullet. I'm gonna get me a boat some way, somehow. And a cool silver bullet now. Cool as light, but right there now.
Back at the Superdome in New Orleans, the Eagles, after being behind 20-7, have taken the lead and taken the game away from the Saints, 36-20. The winner to go to Texas Stadium to play the Cowboys, the Redskins and the 49ers next week here on CBS. There, as it bounced off the hands and pads of Vaughn Dunbar. You know, you talk about Reggie White and the impact he's had and how good he's been, and certainly he has. But you ask any of the Eagles who's the best cornerback in the league, and they'll tell you it's Eric Allen. They say they have to play against him every day in practice.
Yeah, and he is, and he's made some big plays for him. And the guy that I like is that other corner that is playing on the other side, is Mark McMillan. You know, he's only 5'6", 150 pounds, 160 pounds, and every guy on the team, every Eagle on the team will tell you that Mark McMillan is really a confident guy and a tough guy. When a guy weighs 160 pounds, he's playing in this league, he better be a tough guy.
Yeah, he better be confident, too. Six-yard gain. And the Saints take a timeout. And a reminder that tonight on 60 Minutes, on CBS begins with 60 Minutes. Can you work all week and wind up owing the boss $5 if you pick oranges for some big companies? You can tonight on 60 Minutes. That's followed by Murder, She Wrote. Then it's the CBS Sunday night movie, Casualties of Love, the Long Island Lolita story. Story of the highly publicized case of Amy Fisher, all tonight on CBS.
Look at Mark McMillan, like I was talking about. He's always moving. He's always celebrating. He brings life to the team. He brings celebrations. When you're only 5'6" or 5'7", or what you have to have low fives. The guy is always moving. And I'll tell you, every player on this defense talks about Mark McMillan. You know, you talk about they got the Seth Joyners, the Byron Evans, the Reggie White, the Clyde Simmons, but they'll always mention how much Mark McMillan means to this defense.
Right from the beginning of training camp, they pay tribute to him and to Rich Kotite. Saints 1st and 10 at their own 32. Hebert out of the shotgun. For those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes, you're still watching the NFL on CBS and the game between the Philadelphia Eagles and New Orleans Saints. I'm Pat Summerall along with John Madden. Our score here is 36-20 Philadelphia. The 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast and the Mountain Time Zone. Well, those pictures tell you the story of what's going on. 2nd and 10. Here's Hebert, chased by Reggie White. Finally pulls the trigger early and gets out of bounds in front of the Eagle bench. The other scores as the playoffs continue. The Redskins over Minnesota. San Diego shut out Kansas City. They'll play Miami. Buffalo came back to beat Houston 41-38 in overtime. And a long second half for Jim Mora and his New Orleans Saints.
You know, the interesting thing about the 4 teams left in the NFC, at the beginning of the year, everyone said the NFC East was the toughest division, and of the 4 teams left, 3 of them are from the NFC East.
Right. Bud Carson did a wonderful job with this defense also.
You know, there was a couple times where it looked like they were bent over and were going to be broken, but they sure didn't break, and then they sprung back and took over this game.
Hebert to Dunbar, stopped by Byron Evans. 6-yard pickup. A minute to go.
That's why they like McMillan. You see him at the end of the game. He doesn't have much of a body, but whatever he has, he brings it up and just throws it in there.
Well, he's got a lot of life.
Yeah, he's a fun guy. I mean, he's a fun and spirit and life and all those things.
side to Quinn Early. No more timeouts. By Sekahima, another one of those guys who never have experienced Super Bowl glory or playoff glory to any degree. This is Early. Out of bounds at about the 15. Otis Smith, the nearest defender next to him. 26 seconds left. Next Saturday, don't forget again, at 3:30 Eastern Time, it begins with the NFL today. The divisional playoff game between the Redskins and the 49ers. That's where John and I will be. And the next Sunday, Philadelphia at Dallas.
You know, and then when you get to the playoffs, and we talked about this, 12 teams go in, 11 of them are going to lose the last game they play that year, and one team's going to win the Super Bowl. The high of winning a playoff game is as high as it can get, and the low of losing a playoff game is as low as it can get, because it's one of those things that doesn't go away. You don't have next week. You can't, by Wednesday, say, well, we're getting ready for next week, or we'll get them next week. Next week isn't until training camp.
And these guys have been at it. The finality, they've been going for this goal since last June in some cases. July, certainly. Hebert back to throw. Incomplete in the end zone, intended for Early. Booty was the Eagle defender. 36-20, Philadelphia leading. 20 seconds left. 20 seconds left in a season if you're a New Orleans Saint.
I'll tell you one thing, the Eagles are still hitting here in the end zone. I mean, they're getting ready for next week. The Saints are getting ready to go home, and I would think 36-20 with 20 seconds left, I would just run the ball out. I mean, there's no need to prolong this thing anymore or cause either team to get an injured player on the last down. I'd just run it out.
I doubt they'll do that. That's sensible. Hebert across the middle. The margin. They have no timeout. Stopped by Eric Allen. Richie Kotite.
Hey, he knows he has it, he deserves it.
Saints will try for one more. And the clock runs out. The Eagles, a powerful comeback. Defeat the New Orleans Saints in the NFC wildcard game by 16 points, 36-20.
The Eagles did it the hard way. They were tough and they were strong in that second half.
They win and advance.
Comfort in a four-wheel drive. Amazing.